There's a moment in every career where you realize you're just an amateur and you are so far away from being a pro. At the end of the day, amateurs are in a position they try to do something 1,000 different ways and they never ever get a consistent result. Whereas the pros know exactly what to do to make sure they get a consistent result time and time again. And what is the distance between that amateur and pro? It's that desire to learn. It's that hunger to get seriously good at what you do. And let's think about it. The amateur asks 1,000 questions of the buyer. The professional literally just asks some very simple questions. What's the reason why you're potentially thinking about buying, moving, selling? How quickly do you need to do that? And what locations are you considering? Tell me a little bit about the home that you want to buy and how can I help you to go and do that today? And this is that whole conversation that you go, how did you just reel off those questions so quickly? Because they're the only questions that really matter when you're doing great buyer work. It's also about making that decision to get really intentional before you turn up at that listing presentation. What the professional does is that they set up that environment to make sure that they win. They're not interested in sending a proposal, going back for a second appointment, or maybe hoping that they may win the listing. They actually know that while they're there in that lounge room, they have the ability to substantially increase the desire of that particular consumer to want to do a transaction. They're actually building up the heat inside of that transaction as they go through all of the essential components, from the client situation to selecting an agent to method, marketing, pricing, and then the summary at the end. And if you're actually in a position that you know the client's ready, why wouldn't you close the business while you're there? Sure, you're going to get some objections. Sure, there are going to be some challenges that come up. And sure, the client might say they've got other agents who might be coming out to come and see them. But let's be honest, if you're there as the owner, you're ready to sign straight away. You've got all the information that you need in order to be able to make some great decisions. The difference is that the pro knows when to push and when to hold back, and the amateur just sends a proposal. This is where we've got to start thinking really differently about what you're doing in your career development. This isn't just about going to training. It's not just about learning. It's not just about being in this position that you're just going to learn on the job. The reality of it is you've actually made the decision that this is going to be your only career and that you literally want to be the best in the world at what you do. And I love that quote by Michael Jordan. How good are you at what you currently do and what are you doing to get better? Because this is the decision that right now, more than ever before, you need to be able to transition from being an amateur to being an absolute pro in the way that you work with buyers, how you work with sellers, and what you do to be able to win that listing inside the lounge room. Make that decision and get seriously good and watch your career significantly take off.